Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of the Tigers Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Schulte. It is Sunday, June 9th, 2024 at the time of this recording. And you know what? We're happy to be here. We're not so happy to be in fourth place, but we're happy to be here because we're right about the 500 mark. Actually, we are 2 games below 500 as we speak. This is a team that's not played its best baseball. So we're going to go ahead and get into that in a little bit. But before we do that, let's get into some technical things about the podcast. If you have noticed, we're not on Spotify anymore. It's not that we're not on Spotify. It's that the website is being a total jerk, and I'm not able to upload new content. So I have basically just decided that this is going to go on YouTube from now on, and that's fine. So we're on YouTube, and that is, of course, youtube.com/@TB podcast. So I'm going to post that on Twitter. I'm going to post it on Mastodon, and we're just going to let it go. That's just the way of it. I'll try to get it uploaded onto Spotify, but it seems that it is going to be a losing effort. So at the moment, I'm just leaving it be on Spotify. It's not a big deal. So with all that being said, let's get into some things. Injury report. Alex Faedo went on the injured list last Tuesday. Actually, last Wednesday with hip inflammation. Remember, he had a procedure done. His hip was more of a hinge joint than a ball and socket joint, and he actually had hip reconstruction done. I want to say it was 2022. Yeah, 2022. He had hip reconstruction done. They basically shaved off part of his hip to make it more of a ball and socket joint, so that he could get better rotation and get better control of his pitches. This is, of course, after he had Tommy John surgery in 2021. So it's been an up and down last few years for Alex Faedo as far as injuries are concerned. Kenta Maeda left Wednesday's game after 2 pitches with right side tightness. Jack Flaherty left Tuesday night's game after 5 innings with lower back tightness. Both of them are expected to make their scheduled next starts. Now, they've moved some things around, have the Tigers. So Skubal went today and was, well, Skubal. Which means Flaherty should go on Tuesday and Maeda on Wednesday. But because of the off day tomorrow and because of the off day last Thursday, the way that the schedule has worked out, they're able to push Flaherty back until this weekend in Houston. Now, they could have done the same thing to Maeda, but they chose to do it to Flaherty. So Maeda's going on Tuesday against Washington. Wednesday is Olsen. Thursday is Mize. Now, Friday could be Flaherty or Saturday could be Flaherty. Either Friday is Skubal or Flaherty, and then you either get Skubal on Saturday or you get Flaherty on Saturday, depending on who it is that pitches. What this tells me is that Flaherty's injury is a little more serious, I think, than Maeda's. And I also have a feeling that AJ Hinch likes his chances better with Flaherty and Skubal going in the first 2 games against Houston than Skubal and Maeda. Because you could theoretically pitch Flaherty on Tuesday. Well, you couldn't. No, you have to do it this way because you could theoretically, pitch Flaherty on Tuesday, Maeda on Wednesday, Olson on Thursday, then Mize on Friday against Houston, Skubal on Saturday, and then you'd have Flaherty going again on Sunday. But I think AJ Hinch wants to try to win those first two games. I think he feels better. He feels better, I think, if Casey Mize doesn't see the Houston Astros again. They smacked him around pretty good here in Detroit, and I think he feels a little more comfortable with Olson going on or with Maeda going on Sunday than he does with Casey Mize going on Friday. So the way it's going to line up is depending on how Flaherty's back feels over the next couple days. You'll either see him go on Friday or Saturday. And Skubal will take, because let's not forget, because of the day off, Skubal gets his normal 4 days of rest. So you either have Flaherty going on 7, 8, 9 days of rest on Friday or on 10 days of rest on Saturday. Now, if you have him going on 9 days of rest on Friday, that means you got Skubal going on 5 days of rest on Saturday instead of 4 days. So that gives him an extra day. And in all honesty, I think that might be the way that AJ Hinch does it, just because of the fact that, let's face it, Tarik Skubal hasn't thrown a lot of innings in the major leagues. He hasn't thrown a ton of innings, and so because of that, he's yes, his arm is still fresh, but he's not sure. He's not like, I think he did. In 2021, he threw 150 innings, and that's the most innings he's ever pitched in the major leagues. Because remember, 2022, he got hurt on the 1st of August, and then he didn't come back until last year on the 4th of July. So, and he only threw 80 innings or so last year, and he's well beyond that now. If he's not beyond it, he's awfully close, because he's averaging 6.5. He's averaging 6 1/3 innings a start over his 9 starts now. So he's at about 57 or 58 innings now, is my guess. So he's close to that limit that he was at last summer or at the end of last year. So if they can give him an extra day here and there to kind of nurse that arm through what is a long season, they'll do that. They'll do that. And let's not forget, too, Detroit's in a position right now where they may be out of the divisional race. I'm not going to concede that until September, but they're 9 games back at the middle of June, or at the end of the first week of June. So in all reality, they got a lot of ground to make up on Cleveland. They really do. And they got to pass Minnesota, and they got to pass Kansas City. They might be thinking at the end of July, beginning of August, we've still got a chance to make the playoffs, but as a wild card team. And so they want to make sure that Skubal's available for them in October, because he's the guy. He's the guy that can slow down any lineup. Oh, well, he didn't fare too well against Kansas City, you might say. Well, that was in Kansas City, but in Detroit, he wiped the floor with them. You find me a team that he doesn't match up well against, and I'll take Skubal. I'll take Skubal against any lineup. That includes the Braves, the Dodgers, the Phillies. I'll take him against any lineup, because he's a very good pitcher. He's developed into one of the elites. He's developed into one of the best, and we're happy to have him. Sadly, Scott Boras is his agent, so we won't have him for very long. but that's neither here nor there at this point. Enjoy it while you got it, Tigers fans. Let's take a quick look at the week that was and what's coming up. So Detroit took 2 out of 3 against Texas, and I'm not too upset about Wednesday's loss just because of the fact that, your starter gets knocked out after 2 pitches. So you're basically doing a bullpen day without even knowing that you're supposed to be doing a bullpen day. Didn't have a chance to plan it out. Mason Englert pitched down in Texas, his home state, and he went 3 1/3. Got lit up a little bit. Texas beat him 9-1. But really, Maeda goes down after 2 pitches, and then Joey Wentz comes in. And I'm still not confident in Joey Wentz. He had some good starts at the beginning, or some good appearances at the beginning, and he showed some raw stuff. And now he's just regressed, and I'm a little annoyed about Joey Wentz. I kind of wish they'd let him go. And I understand it gives AJ some bullpen flexibility. But really, 2 out of the 3 lefties in the pen are just kind of falling apart right now. Holton is doing his thing, but Chafin's having issues. Wentz is having issues, and that makes it a little more difficult for AJ to mix and match the way he likes to. So we went 2-1 in Texas, and 1-2 against the Brewers. So we finished 3-3 for the week. That's a winning week. Can't complain about that. You can complain about the 10-0 drubbing that you took at the hands of Milwaukee on Friday. Reese Olson got just absolutely whacked. Detroit got outscored 17-14 in that series against Milwaukee, and the only reason it was even that close is because that 10-2 win over Milwaukee today. Only 1 home run hit in that game today, and it was actually an opposite field shot from Jake Rogers, who's starting to put it together a little bit. He has kind of become Scooble's personal catcher, and he's kind of comfortable in that role. I think he'll probably start on Tuesday. AJ Hinch likes to start his catchers give him 2 starts and then sit him so the other guy can get a couple starts. So him and Kelly have pretty much been averaging 2 starts in a row, and then they sit down for 2. So that keeps them well rested and allows them to still be able to maintain what they need to for hitting. So not much else going on. Ryan Kreidler is off of the injured list from Toledo, which is good because he's got a. I like Ryan Kreidler's defense. I think he's got potential to have a decent bat. So good to see him. Good to see him off the injured list. Spencer Torkelson has gone down to Toledo, and he's got a couple doubles. He's got a homer. He scored a few runs. We'll see. We'll see where Spencer Torkelson ends up in a month. Kerry Carpenter is also on the injured list due to lumbar spine inflammation that we brought you that last week. Still no timetable on him at this point. So With that, I want to thank you guys for checking me out on YouTube, youtube.com/@TB Podcast. Check me out on Mastodon TV at TB Podcast at tweezcake.social. Twitter is at Podcast Tigers. And the world's longest email address, I'm awfully proud of it, tigersbaseballpodcast@gmail.com. Until next week, folks, thanks for listening, and go Tigers.